Computer Literacy Unlocked Episode 2. It is not magic, it is infrastructure. Chapter 2. How the Internet actually works. Welcome back to Computer Literacy Unlocked. Today we are going to destroy a myth. The myth that the Internet is magical. It is not. It is physical. It is engineered. It is extraordinarily impressive, but it is completely understandable. And once you understand it, you will be a safer, smarter, and more confident user of every digital tool you touch. Let's start with a fact that surprises almost everyone. The Internet runs on cables, physical cables. Right now, at the bottom of every major ocean on Earth, there are thick bundles of fiber optic cable, some as wide as a garden hose, some thicker, carrying the vast majority of the world's internet traffic. When you send an email to someone in London, there is a very real chance that email traveled through a cable on the floor of the Atlantic Ocean, not a satellite. Not wireless signals floating through the air, a physical cable running miles underwater. That is the Internet's backbone. And from that backbone, the infrastructure fans out. Undersea cables connect to landing stations on coastlines, which connect to massive data centers, which connect to regional networks, which connect to your internet service provider, your ISP, the company you pay for internet access, which connects to the router in your home, which connects to your devices. Every single step in that chain is physical hardware, operated by real companies and maintained by real engineers. The journey of a single request. Let me walk you through what happens when you type google.com into your browser and press enter. I want to make this tangible because the sequence is more interesting than most people realize. Step 1. Your browser needs to find Google's servers. But here's the thing. Computers don't understand names like google.com. They understand numbers. Specifically, they understand IP addresses. An IP address is a numerical identifier, something like 142.250.80.46, that uniquely identifies a device or server on a network. Every device on the internet has one. Your computer has one. Every server has one. But google.com is a lot easier to remember than 142.250.80.46. So the first thing your browser does is contact a DNS server, a domain name system server. Think of DNS as the internet's phone book. Your browser says, I have the name. Give me the number. The DNS server looks it up and replies with the IP address. This whole exchange happens in milliseconds. You never see it. It happens every single time you visit any website. Step 2. Now that your browser has the IP address, it needs to establish a connection with Google's server. Before any real data transfers, your device and Google's server perform what is called a TCP handshake. They exchange brief signals, essentially saying, ready? Ready, confirmed, to establish a reliable connection. TCP stands for Transmission Control Protocol. It is the system that ensures data arrives completely and in the correct order. Step 3. Your browser sends a request to Google's server. That request does not travel as one continuous stream. It is broken into small chunks called packets. Each packet is labeled with where it came from and where it is going. Those packets travel across the network, potentially taking completely different routes, hopping from router to router, each router reading the destination address and deciding the best next hop. If one route is congested, packets take a different one. They reassemble into the complete response on the other end. Step 4. Google's server receives your request, processes it, and sends back a response, again as packets. Those packets race back across the network through routers, through your ISP, through your home router, to your device. Your browser reassembles the packets and renders the web page on your screen. The whole process, DNS lookup, handshake, request, response, render, typically takes under 200 milliseconds. Less time than it takes to blink. HTTPS, the padlock that matters. Now I need to talk to you about something that could save you real money and real heartache. You have seen the padlock icon in your browser's address bar. You may have noticed that some websites show it and some do not. This matters more than most people realize. HTTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol, is the original standard for web communication. When your browser communicates with a server using HTTP, all that data travels in plain text. If anyone is monitoring the network, a hacker on a public Wi-Fi network, for instance, they can read everything. Your passwords, your credit card numbers, your personal information. All of it is readable, like a postcard anyone can pick up and read. HTTPS, the S stands for secure, adds a layer of encryption using a protocol called TLS. When you communicate over HTTPS, your data is encrypted before it leaves your device and decrypted only when it arrives at the correct destination. Anyone who intercepts it in between sees scrambled nonsense. That padlock icon in your browser tells you this connection is encrypted. Never enter a password, a credit card number, or any personal information on a site that does not show that padlock. Never. Bandwidth and latency. Two terms you will encounter whenever you evaluate an internet connection are bandwidth and latency. They are often confused for each other. They are not the same thing, and the distinction matters. Bandwidth is capacity, how much data can flow per second. Think of it as a water pipe. A wider pipe moves more water simultaneously. A 100 megabit per second connection can transfer more data per second than a 10 megabit connection. Higher bandwidth means faster downloads, smoother video streams, and more devices running simultaneously without degradation. Latency is delay, how long it takes for data to make the round trip from your device to the server and back. Think of it as response time. For most browsing and streaming, a bit of latency is tolerable. But for video calls and online gaming, where every millisecond of delay affects your experience, low latency is critical. This is why satellite internet, despite sometimes offering decent bandwidth, can feel frustrating for video calls. The signal has to travel approximately 22,000 miles up to a satellite in geostationary orbit and 22,000 miles back. Physics imposes a minimum round-trip delay of around 600 milliseconds. That is a noticeable pause in a conversation. Newer low Earth orbit satellite systems like Starlink have dramatically reduced this, but the physics principle remains the same. Distance creates delay. Why understanding this protects you? I want to close this episode with a practical point. Understanding internet infrastructure is not an academic exercise. It is practical defense. Every phishing scam depends on you not thinking about where a link actually goes. Every public Wi-Fi attack depends on you not thinking about whether your connection is encrypted. Every fake website depends on you not knowing that the address in your browser tells you exactly where you are. The moment you understand how the internet actually works, packets, addresses, encryption, infrastructure, you become a different kind of user. Not just smarter, safer. The internet is not magic. It is cables, servers, routers, and protocols working together at incredible speed. And understanding that infrastructure, even at this conceptual level, makes you more capable, more discerning, and harder to deceive. Next episode, we come inside the machine itself and meet the operating system, the software that manages everything your hardware does. Windows, Mac OS, Linux, Android. What they are, how they differ, and why the choice matters for you. Before you go, play Packet Racer at globalsovereignuniversity.org. Our free book game for this chapter puts you in charge of routing data through the internet infrastructure before the timer runs out. Bronze through Platinum difficulty. Gino is standing by in 32 languages to coach you through anything you miss. The game is free. The book is free. Everything at GSU is free. This is Computer Literacy Unlocked, and I will see you in the next episode.